Alright, hello world.
Hi world.
I am Annalie Davis,
I'm Tucker Case.
and we make up the production company Bandit Pimp.
Yeah.
And he makes up half of the band Bandit Pimp.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a band so much as it's two guys who rap stuff.
But that's what was playing beforehand, which
Yes.
is why I want to mention it. And if you want to hear more of that, go to banditpimp.com. If you want to see any of our shorts or other video projects, also go to banditpimp.com. So today we're here to talk about this new Far Cry 5 cinematic that was released today.
Mm-hmm.
It's a full 30-minute short film. It's live action. It's kind of a new thing lately where video games are releasing these live action cinematic trailers mostly, or just kind of promotional videos to go on social media, and particularly indie games do it for their live action Steam trailers.
Mm-hmm.
At this point.
Yeah, it's a thing that it's pretty good for these indie games that are still looking for funding a lot of the time to get their feet off the ground, like at cons and stuff like that, especially. And yeah, we've worked with a group called Imagos Films, which kind of specializes in making these live action trailers. This video is a little different though, because it's an actual cinematic film that just takes place within the universe. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you see these characters somewhere in the game. I can't obviously guarantee that, but
we can guarantee a couple of characters though,
mm-hmm.
And we can get into that later.
Yeah, I think you can move and see them. That guy, that's move your hands. I'm pointing at Adam right now.
Oh, I thought
that's
you were
Adam.
pointing at Greg.
Boop, boop. Yep, Adam's right there. Greg is right there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, there's a few others.
Yeah. And we'll get into cast and characters later on, but first, just to kind of talk about what this is and why it's so unique and different, is that it's a full short film. It's 30 minutes, which is actually kind of long for a short film,
mm-hmm.
and it's very high budget. I don't know if Liz would agree with me on that, but it's pretty high budget. It was made specifically by both Ubisoft and Asylum Entertainment.
Yep.
A lot of times these things, like with Imagos, they're very removed. The client will just kind of be like, I want something that'll make people be like, let's try this game out.
Yeah.
But this one we had the client on standby the entire time. We had a lot of them. We had
mm-hmm.
Ubisoft representatives and yeah. So it was very hands-on for them. They went through so much detail to make sure that this universe that we were creating was also the universe that they had created in the game. And yeah, a lot of stuff went into that. But before I get too ahead of myself, the main reason that we are here talking about this, and not somebody else, is that we were actually a part of this production. Mm-hmm. We were PAs, which are production assistants, on this shoot, so we were there the whole time. We got to hang out with a lot of really awesome people from Ubisoft, Asylum, a lot of awesome cast and crew. But first off, just because there might be some people watching this who are more interested in the video game and aren't as film industry savvy, I kind of want to explain what a production assistant is. The best way I can describe them is that they're just kind of like the set lemmings. They do anything and everything, and while they're commonly considered to be kind of like the lowest rung on the ladder, they're super important for any set. Most sets will have like anywhere from 10 to 30 production assistants. Sometimes on bigger sets they'll even be like 50 plus. They're typically the biggest department on a film set, which is why they're sometimes referred to as the PA Nation.
Yeah.
On this particular one, there was 4. We were half of the PA Nation.
Yeah, a 4-person nation.
Yeah.
Possibly the smallest nation in history.
So I thought it would be kind of fun to describe to people what a PA is and what they do, to say each of us should say the most common thing that we do when we're a PA on set. And then also say the most just like far-fetched and out there thing you've ever had to do as a PA, just to kind of show how ranged your responsibilities as a PA are. Mm-hmm. So I'll go first. For me, it's getting coffee.
Yeah, getting coffee. I was going to say
the most common thing, whether that's like driving to Starbucks or just going to Crafty to get coffee. The most out there thing I think I've ever had to do is probably visiting an evidence locker and photographing a murder weapon.
Yeah, sure.
That's the most out there thing I've ever had to do.
Yeah, I mean, definitely getting coffee. That's something you're just going to end up doing on a very regular basis. The most crazy thing I've probably ever had to do as a PA, let's see. I did have the privilege of working on an IMAX film called Dream Big pretty early in my career. One of those days was picking up B-roll from Seaplane. It was like a 3-person plane, so they could only bring up like one crew member, the DP, the director, and the pilot. So I got to fly around in a seaplane for an entire day and work with like a 70mm camera from the like 70s.
What were you doing in the plane?
I was basically a camera PA.
Okay.
I was just kind of helping the DP. Just kind of helping. Yeah.
No phones on set?
Come on, man.
You kind of get the idea. As a PA, you do a lot of really mundane things over and over and over again. And then you also, like, you're at the mercy of any department that suddenly needs somebody.
I know what it was.
What?
I know what it was. I was on the set of a feature film, and they needed to pretend the character was in the forest, and I was wearing, like, dark brown pants. And so they were like, Tucker, can you stand over there, and we'll try to use your leg and pretend it's a tree.
You're a tree!
I played a tree.
Just like the little kids.
Yeah.
In, like, plays in school.
Yeah,
in, like,
exactly.
The tree outfit.
Yeah.
I'm a tree!
I was like the little kid who auditioned for Peter Pan, and they're like, "Congratulations, Tucker, you made it into the play. You're going to play Tree 2.
Okay, so let's talk about the crew, I think. Hi, baby. Good stretch. We have a dog.
If he appears.
Complimenting his stretching abilities. He's adorable. Cute. He's got a little bandana on. Who's the best boy? I am going to mention that we are probably in the future working on these podcasts. We're going to be talking about being on set and like the good and bad things that happen on every set. Obviously, there were things that happened on the set that weren't super shiny and glitzy and glamoury. For this particular podcast, because it's just coming out and we really want to promote this more than anything, we're going to be focusing on the positive. So I'm not going to complain about anybody. I might complain a little bit, but I'm not going to complain about anybody.
Filmmaking is a grueling job filled with long hours because...
Yeah, I think our shortest day on the set was 15 hours.
You budget every single thing on a film set by day. Everybody gets paid a day rate. Every rental is by day. So if you don't make your day, like if you don't get all the shots you planned by the end of the day, that day, then it has to go somewhere else. Somebody else has to pick up that slack, and filmmaking is all about just coming together as a team and just getting the thing done, pretty much no matter what it takes. And that's both what we love about it and what we hate about it, I think. Going
into crew, Neil Buckley, who is our location manager, just sent us a picture of a location from the film. It is covered in snow.
Yeah, good thing it wasn't.
Yeah, so going into talking about the crew, I really just want to do a couple quick shout-outs to some crew members that we thought were particularly amazing and really carried this whole production. But I want to start with Creighton.
Yeah, Andrew Creighton, he was awesome.
Andrew Creighton was a quarter of the PA Nation.
Yeah.
He was another one of our PAs, and he was the Montana casting director.
Represent Montana, baby. Yeah.
He was the Montana casting director. He was the background. He was
background wrangler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And first team. So he was 4 different, very separate roles.
Yes.
They were insanely separate. Like, those are things that don't flow together very well.
In fact, they clash.
Yeah, and he did all 4, and was, like, phenomenal at them all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, once again, we had 4 PAs on this set, which should have had 15, at least.
At least 15, yeah. It was a pretty big, again, well-funded production, but it was a costly production because it's not cheap to go shoot on location somewhere like Montana.
So, Andrew Creighton, AP Creighton, whatever he wants to go by.
So he's credited as.
Yeah, he was such a huge, immense help to me personally, because I also had quite a few jobs. I mean, we all did. We all wore a lot of hats, but he was such a huge, immense help to me whenever he was able to, because a lot of the times he was doing first team, which meant he was, like, glued to talent. And then you were, handcuffed to the first AD most of the time.
Yep.
Being on a movie set, there's not just the little set where they're shooting. There's, like, we take up miles.
Yeah.
Like, especially for this production, there were some times where we had, like, a compound, we had, the trailers, we had the office, production office, and then we had, like, actors holding, and then we had set, and, like, you literally needed to be ferried around in a vehicle to get from, like, production office to set. So oftentimes I was the only one, I was, like, the only one not on set, but I was the only PA who wasn't, had, like, everything else under my little umbrella. I had to take care of the entire compound while the 3 of you were kind of, like, constricted to set. And Andrew was just, like, the greatest at being able to support me, even though it was really hard for him to do so. And then he also had to do all of the casting and the background and stuff, and he was also, on top of that, like, one of the only people who was, like, super genuinely thankful to me whenever I helped him out. That's such a huge thing for a PA on set. We don't ever get thanked. And he was my hero a lot of days. He was one of the people that kept me from, like, shooting myself in the head a lot.
One of my favorite people to work on this set work with on this set was Don Lee, the stunt coordinator, and all his stunt team. Because I actually hadn't really been on a set yet with some really detailed and like high caliber stunts. I've been on sets with, like, a gunshot here, a knife stab there, a fight scene, But this film, if you watch it, you'll see there's a lot of gunshots. There's a car chase kind of scene. There's water scenes, underwater scenes. There's stunt double stuff. There's stabbings. There's crossbow bolts going into people. There's just all kinds of things happening in this one. And Don and his stunt guys were just able to seamlessly be on and off set. There was several times, actually, because as, like, key set PA, it was my job a lot of times to, like, make sure actors had water, make sure that directors had water, make sure everybody was hydrated and had snacks and all that stuff. I can't tell you how many times I went up to Kyle's, that's one of the lead characters, Kyle's stunt double, instead of him, because he was just looked just like him, And that also is due to the makeup department and wardrobe doing a good job, but everybody on Don Lee's team and Don Lee himself, they were right there on the front line doing all these awesome stunts and making a film like this one, Inside Eden's Gate, possible, because it completely relies on effective action sequences. In fact, the stunt guys, they were talking about, like, wrestling moves and using some of them in stunts. They use a double leg takedown. You'll see it. Yep, if you know anything about wrestling.
I didn't see it.
Yeah. Anyway, shout out to Don Lee and his crew.
Don Lee.
You guys are dope. Can I just roll into one other group of people too?
I only have one more person that I want to actually, like, say a full sentence about.
Okay. Yeah, like Nina, Casey, and the entire wardrobe and makeup department goes hand in hand with stunts in making every stunt every fight scene, every killing scene look amazing, and that whole entire wardrobe, hair and makeup department was just on point, really awesome. You'll see some of this stuff. Again, I encourage you to go watch it. Amazon Prime. There's some awesome effects, awesome stunts. Everything looks amazing.
Yeah, we should have mentioned that. It's available on Amazon Prime.
I did. I mentioned it twice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not paying attention. Yeah, the only other person that I really wanted to say something about is Liz, who was our line producer, Liz Vikovic, and she was the most badass person on set the whole time. I mean, she put out so many fires, and she was everything. She wasn't just the line producer. She was the entire production department by herself. She was great. And I learned a lot from her, and I got to spend a lot of long hours with her, just watching her have things just kind of shoved upon her, just shoveled on her. Everyone just came by and shoveled all their crap in her face, and she just kind of dealt with it and sprayed some lavender spray and was like,
well, yeah, I kind of felt like a crap funnel. I mean, a lot of the times it was my job to be they'd ask me a question that I had no way to answer it. Yeah. So I would have to ask you or Liz, or ask you or somebody else.
You would have to ask me because you weren't allowed to ask Liz, and then I would have to ask.
Yeah, and then but it was always
stop it.
Just ask Liz. Somebody would say.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, dude, I just asked Liz something I shouldn't have been asking Liz 5 minutes ago. Yeah. But here it is.
Pippin's snoring now.
Yeah.
If you hear snoring, it's Pippin.
It is Pippin. I'd also just like to give a shout out to the two guys kind of heading up the creative side of things, which is Barry Battles, the director, David McFarland, the DP, director of photography. That movie just looks beautiful. The lighting was awesome. Jeannie was awesome. Yeah. Everybody did a great job.
Barry Battles is the coolest name for a director.
Yeah.
On that note, he's not on the IMDb yet. I could look up the call sheet, but I won't. Our DIT guy was whoever did DIT on this. You're a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Because DIT was right in the middle of the entire compound, right between set and the production office. So he saw me just running back and forth all the time, and he was just like, "Are you okay?" He was so sweet.
Yeah.
Way to go, DIT guy.
We both probably lost 15 pounds on that set from just sprinting.
I lost 1 pound off of each shoe because I wore off the bottoms of my shoes.
Yeah.
And wrapped them in gaff tape.
Just on the note of, like Anna said, a lot of the times, unfortunately, PAs do not get a lot of thanks. But this was probably the most thankful cast I've ever been on. They were awesome. Every member of the cast was super nice.
Speaking specifically about the A-team, which includes the Seed brothers, they were all just some of the nicest people in the world, and we've dealt with some of the worst possible actors and actresses out there. Lauren Holly, I'm looking at you.
Lauren Holly.
Want to specifically say Alexis, because while everyone else was really sweet and wonderful, I've never met a human being so genuine as Alexis.
Alexis is dope.
Not even talking about just actors, but just people. She was just so not just nice, but just really genuine.
Mm-hmm. She was a real person, not an actor.
Yeah, and she was always worried about me and asking me if I was drinking water and just being a general sweetheart. And it's dude, I'm nobody. Kyle was quite nice, even though he walked off a lot and I had to go find him.
Yeah, well, Kyle was...
dig him out of the woods a lot.
Yeah, I think he kind of likes his focus time, which I'm the same way when I'm acting on set. I don't like to be around anybody else because I'm thinking about my character more than anything. So Greg was the same way, which would be my first shout out. Greg,
he's not even on here.
The star of the film. The star of the film isn't yet.
I
guess Kyle would kind of be the star. He's more the Kyle, Jarrett, and
Yeah, but
Alexis, Aaron.
Greg is not only like one of the main stars of this, but he's also like the star of the video game.
Yeah, I mean that's him.
Yeah,
right there. That's
Greg he's I believe the only actor in this film who was also the motion capture and voice actor.
He is. Yeah, he is.
For the actual video game. Yeah. So you will see him in the video game.
Like, that's literally him in the game. He looks just like that in real life.
But going off of that real quick, all of the other actors who were brought on to portray characters that already exist in the video game were, like, the attention to detail to make them look like... Right there. To make them...
I was actually pointing to you, but yeah.
Oh.
Adam.
Yeah, to make them look like, especially him.
Adam, yeah. This guy...
born to play that role.
The redheaded
I don't know how they found
here.
That.
This guy. He looks... That's a video game character that was created independently of this film before the film existed.
Mm-hmm.
And they cast this guy, Adam Dorsey, and he was super good at his role. He also just looks identical to that video game character.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I still wasn't done talking about Greg, though. Greg's super awesome.
Yeah, let's talk about Greg just for the rest of the
night. When I went to pick him up, and I was like, they're like, oh, you gotta make sure you treat him good and everything and be really nice to him because he's our big name actor. And I was like, okay. So I was expecting kind of like a diva.
Be careful because he's probably an asshole.
Yeah, right.
And he's like the nicest guy in the world.
Yeah, totally. And you're led to assume that. I mean, we all hear the horror stories of actors, and some of those are true, unfortunately. And he's just a super nice guy. We were talking about acting and music on the way home. I told him I had an album. He was like, put it on! So we listened to a couple of my rap songs, and we were just talking all the way from Butte to set. Great actor, too. Like, especially as an actor or somebody who's experienced with getting actors to deliver what you want in a film or on stage. I don't know how else to describe it, but like an energy. You can just really feel when somebody is completely in a character, completely owning a performance, and making you feel like... the best example I can give is the Tent Revival monologue that he delivers. Like, he delivered it so powerfully that I even felt like the power that a preacher has over people, you know? But it's more relating to, like, me just really appreciating his acting ability. I also picked up Rob from the airport, the third seed brother. He's a cool guy, too. The Seeds. Rob, Adam, and Greg. Everybody's awesome. I also want to give a shout out to my boy Jarrett Worley. Got drunk with me at the rap party.
Everybody got drunk with you at the rap party.
Yeah, but I had a good talk with Jarrett. He's gonna.
I don't think he remembers it.
Probably not the details. Jarrett, Cass was awesome. We had a lot of
Aaron
good
was a
local.
Sweetheart too, just because I mentioned her. She was very sweet.
Yeah.
Everyone was sweet.
Everybody was great. Cass was awesome.
Do you want to segue to Travis?
Yeah, on that note,
I love this story.
We were looking for one of the biggest features from the video game. So in the video game, there's a character called Nick Rye. And he's like he's an airplane mechanic and aviator. And apparently he's one of the heroes in the game, one of the good guys.
And they were talking about it for like days. They were like, Creighton was freaking out, and everyone was freaking out, and they're like, we need our Nick Wright, and we need him to look like the character.
Yeah.
And it was like the first time I heard about it, I was like, all right, cool, good luck with that. And then like days later, they were like, we still don't have Nick Wright, who's this huge character in the game.
Yeah, I was really surprised they didn't just cast him.
Yeah, they had released these little videos about the major characters from the video games. I think just the companions, the main companions from the game. They released a couple of videos about them way back when we were filming this. So we like finally had a minute to sit down during lunch or something like that. And then they were talking about it, and like you and I were just sitting there going like, I don't know, let's look him up. So we looked him up, and the video starts, and he's like working on a plane or something like that. And like 2 seconds in, I'm just like, he looks like your brother.
He looks just like him.
And I don't think we've mentioned this yet, but you're from Montana.
I am. My brother lives just a couple hours away. My brother, coincidentally, is also an actor. I called him right away, and I asked him if he still had, like, his beard, because Nick Wright has a beard, and that was a pretty big part. he happened to still have his long hair and his beard, so I had him put on some aviators and send me a picture. And he put on some aviators. As soon as Barry came out, I kind of jumped him. And I was like, hey, Barry, I got your Nick Rye. And he was like, okay, let me see a picture. I showed him my brother, and Barry was like, does he look like this right now?
You're like, yeah, he
and
sent
I was
me
like,
this
yeah,
5
he
minutes
just
ago.
sent me this. He's like, call him. Yeah, book him. It's like, awesome. And it was my brother's birthday, like, the next week, and I had been thinking for a long time, like, I don't know what I'm supposed to get Travis. I don't know. And then this happened, so I was like, I'm going to get him into a bigger film than I've been in.
And he's been an actor for a while now, too.
7 years.
Yeah, and that's what you want to do, and you've been, like, working on this, and then your brother's just like, I'm just going to casually be in Far Cry 5.
Yeah, he's like, I'll see if I can get school. I was like, dude.
Yeah, we were under, like, really strict NDA.
Non-disclosure agreement.
Yeah, for this production. Like, I remember there were, like, extras, people who wanted to be extras who would come up and be like, yeah, I'm here to be in Far Cry 5, and we'd be like, go home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, if anybody mentioned what it was, I mean, it had its own, like, NDA name and everything. We didn't say the words Far Cry on set ever.
No.
None of these extras knew what they were in. If they did, they kept mum about it because they were smart. Anyone who's interested in Far Cry 5, you probably looked at those videos, I would assume, because they were released forever ago. So you know who Nick Rye is. And if you watch the Inside Eden's Gate on Amazon, like a scene or two in, it's
the scene in the bar.
Yeah, the scene in the bar, like, it opens on, you know, a shot of him. So go watch that and look at him and be like, tell me he doesn't look just like Nick Rye.
He looks exactly like Nick Rye. Yeah, it was a perfect casting choice.
Also, like, walking behind him in that scene is a much blonder version of me.
Yeah, and a much more, super straight hair, too.
Yeah, God, that was such a pain. Because, like, the next thing we'll talk about here is where we were staying while we were working on this film. We were camping. We were sleeping in a tent.
In a tent, baby!
Every night.
It was dope.
And, Creighton wanted to put me forward as this other companion character you can play, which is Mary May. And I looked very similar to her when I had blonde hair, but she has very straight hair in the video game, like, center part of the straight hair. I spent, like, 2 hours at this, like, campsite lodge straightening my hair the night before, and because my hair is naturally wavy, like, by the time I woke up and got to set the next morning, it had, like, a little bit of a wave in it. And they were like, no, you're not Mary May enough. It's not straight enough. So I, like, went to the catering truck that had catered breakfast for us last morning, and I was like, can I plug into your generator? And they were like, why? I was like, I need to straighten my hair. And I was like, okay.
They're like, I thought actors were supposed to be the divas.
I was like, well, I'm up for this role, and in order to get it, I have to have straight hair. And he was actually really nice. He was like, cool, good luck! I'm, like, poking his head out. I'm like, how's it going over there? Your hair straight enough? So, yeah, so I went and I got to be in that little scene. And, the wardrobe lady made me take all the gaff tape off of my boots.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't talk about Neil.
Neil Buckley. He's another Montana boy.
We talked about that he sent us a picture.
Yeah.
And I didn't mention him. No, Neil was great. Neil was master of all things Montana. He
was. He's like a Montana whisperer. Because he came up to these two drunk guys, and in, like, 5 minutes, they were, like, his best friends. And I don't know how he did it.
He also, like, got people out of speeding tickets.
Yeah. Anyway.
Neil was
dope.
Tight.
So was Nicole. Nicole was dope, too.
We didn't talk about Nicole!
Nicole
oh my
Milch.
God! We're so bad at
Montana.
this!
We are bad at this. There's a lot of people.
Nicole was the greatest, and I really wanted to shout out to her because, one of the things that I just loved so much about her was that this was, I believe, the first film, if not one of the first films she's ever been an AD on. She was the second AD. And she was like, such a diligent, hard worker, you know, putting all of her resources to it. Cat, cut it out! Sorry, Cat's scratching her bit. And, like, on top of that, she was also really humble and, like, never above asking people for help.
Right.
Like, there's so many people on film sets who will just be like, no, I know what I'm doing. Like, even if it's their first time, they'll be like, I read a YouTube article.
Right.
I know what I'm doing. But no, Nicole was like I even somehow mentioned to her that I had experience in SAG paperwork. And she would, like, constantly come to me and be like, is this right? Am I doing this right? Can you check my work for me? And stuff like that. And I was just, like, super impressed that an AD would go to a PA and be able to, like, admit that they might need a little bit of help because they're new to it, which is, like, fantastic. I think that is indicative of someone who will be, like, a really incredible AD someday. If, like, in the beginning they're able to just recognize that relying on other people sometimes is the way to go.
You can't lead if you don't know how to follow.
Exactly.
They say.
And she was just, like, in the pursuit of the flawless call sheet.
Yeah, she was.
If you don't know what a call sheet is, it's this just ridiculous, like, pile of information.
It's a sheet we all wait eagerly for till, like, late the day before a film.
And it tells you everything. It tells you everything from, like, the weather that day, to the location you're supposed to be at, to where the nearest hospital is, to what scenes you're shooting, to what talent's supposed to be there, to
when.
what props you're supposed to have. Yeah, all of the call times, because they're oftentimes all different.
Yeah.
I would know. I've made tons of them.
It's an art for sure.
It is. It's, like, it's so much math. It hurts.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she was in pursuit of the perfect call sheet. And she would go to the first AD, she'd go to Liz, she'd go to, like, Barry, she'd go to everybody and just be like, can you look at this and make sure I didn't make any mistakes? So she was awesome. Nicole and Neil. Sorry,
in short, we there was a lot of people on set. We're forgetting people for sure.
But those were, like, people that we talked about that we wanted to mention.
These are some of the specific people. Yeah,
crazy.
It's been a long time, but it was awesome, and the product came out really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go check it out. It's a lot of fun.
It was pretty.
And to me, it's a far more effective way to market and advertise a film this way because game. Sorry, via film, because instead of, like, the problem with these, like, short cinematic video game trailers that are live action like this, but the whole time they just feel like they're trying to sell you the game and that's it. Whereas this film, she's bringing the cat into the show, so you know.
I don't know if I can get back on this chair with the kitty. Okay.
This is our cat. Her name is Cat.
I've had it 14 years and I've never named her.
Well, you named her Cat.
I did.
We call her Nugget a lot, so. Good
Nugget. Continue.
Yeah, I don't remember what I
just thought we needed a third
anyway,
host.
The, what point was I trying to make? I just lost my train of thought.
That it's good to market video
games. Oh, yeah. This is a more effective way, in my opinion, to market a game, like, at least to me, because it's not just, like, trying to sell it to me, it's putting me in the universe. You know, it's throwing me right into the universe like it will do to a player of the game. Rather than telling me, hey, you should play this game, it's more like, this is what playing this game will feel like.
Yeah, I like how it's like a prequel, too. It's like a little prequel episode that makes you go, like, especially because it's got a cliffhanger. It builds up into the game so that you're like, oh, crap, I want to see what happens. I want to play this game. I want to save Montana.
It establishes the good guys enough that we don't want them to die, but it focuses on the villains more than the good guys. It's kind of one of those films.
Because you're...
And that's because the good guys will be gone in the game, and you'll be facing the Seed Brothers and
I don't know if they'll be gone, though.
They might not. I don't know the game. I haven't played it, but we know for sure the Seed Brothers are in it, and that they're your enemies in Far Cry 5, so that's why they were so well developed and focused on in the film.
I do want to shout out to the place that we stayed.
Yes, because it was awesome. It was a campground. We were in a tent, but that's because it was like $10 a night.
Yeah, and we have nothing against camping.
No, it was fun. We wanted to camp.
Honestly, like, my fondest memories of this whole production were at that campsite.
I actually had a great time, and Game of Thrones was coming out.
Yeah, so we went to the lodge because the lodge had Wi-Fi, and we like huddled on the like very public couch and watched Game of Thrones and watch people, you know, get murdered and stuff, and then like, you know, couples with their small children would walk by right when like sex was happening or something. And
right.
Look at us angrily. It was great.
It was fun. Boulder Creek Lodge.
Boulder Creek.
Yeah, it's.
If you're going to Montana and you want to just like have a really cool place to hang out, honestly, that's cheap. Yeah, go there, and they have cabins too.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not one of the camping type, you can stay in they have really nice little cabins. They have a lodge that has running water, showers, and stuff like that there. So
and it was just like one old couple running the whole
so
shebang. They were super nice.
Such a cool place. I want to go back there.
Boulder Creek Lodge, definitely a good place to hit up. They are cool. Go give them some business.
Yeah, go fist bump them and tell them that Far Cry sent you. And they'll be like, is that what was filming? Because we couldn't tell them either.
Yeah. It was a great experience overall. Really cool place to make some art happen. We got a cool product out of it. We got some great set experience. Got to work with some awesome people. And all in all, it's just a fun film to watch and should be a fun video game. So whether you're interested in Far Cry 5 or you just like action-adventure films, go watch Inside Eden's Gate. Well, we're going to take this video and we're going to pop it onto our YouTube too.
Yeah, I'm going to edit it down a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm going to edit out some of the ums and the...
the dead air. Yeah. Well, we'll edit this and throw it on YouTube. So if you do end up having questions about it, I guess you can always ask in the YouTube comments. So again, I'm Tucker Case.
I'm Annalie Davis.
And we are Bandit Pimp.
I was also... My last name was left out of the credits, so if you're looking for me in the credits.
She's just being salty, but it did happen. Yeah. Anyway, we're Bandit Pimp. Check out Inside Eden's Gate on Amazon Prime. We'll also do some more like podcast type streams where we just talk about things that'll probably be mostly film related, but not always. It'll just depend on what's going on, what's topical.
We don't talk about anything else.
We might.
Even just in our daily lives. Speaking of which, we should mention that we will be streaming Far Cry 5.
Yeah,
once
absolutely.
It comes out on the 27th.
Something like that.
27th, yeah. I think. Yeah, we'll have it immediately, and we'll start streaming.
Yep.
And yeah, so you'll get to watch me play myself.
Yeah, I mean, or at least next to yourself. Yeah.
Marinette is going to be my companion.
Yeah, I mean...
There's also a dog. His name is Boomer.
All right. Thanks again. Tune in next time.